If you invested just $10,000 into Nvidia stock 10 years ago, you would be sitting on close to $2 million in gains today. Over the past decade, shares of the company have shot up almost 20,000%, with most of it being in the last 2 years. Nvidia has grown to a market cap of over $2 trillion, making it the third largest company in the world and giving it a 5% composition in the S&P 500. The company's main product is graphics processing units, or GPUs for short, and it's been the leading provider of the current AI computing boom. It initially gained traffic in the gaming realm, where it sold millions of GPUs used for building personal gaming computers. The insane processing power of its chips have since been utilized for mining crypto, training AI, and more. Nvidia also benefited from the tech stock boom towards the end of 2020 and through 2021. Despite suffering in the drawdown in late 2021, the stock has strongly recovered and blown past previous highs. It's clear that consumers and investors believe that AI is the future and that Nvidia will be leading the charge. Will Nvidia be able to continue to stay ahead of the competition in the field of AI computing? And will it be able to keep on growing at this unprecedented pace? On this episode of What's Going On Here, we're going to look into the factors that led to Nvidia's initial success and have allowed them to remain the industry leader for years. Nvidia was founded in 1993 by engineers Jensen Huang, Chris Malachowski, and Curtis Preem. The founders believed that graphics-based processing was the next step in accelerated computing and centered their company around it. They noticed that video games were currently one of the most computationally challenging problems and had very high sales volume, so they focused their first products there. They started the company with $40,000 in the bank and were able to secure $20 million in venture capital funding from Sequoia Capital and more. They took a gamble when they made their first graphics accelerator called the NV1. Instead of optimizing for triangle primitives, which was the industry standard, the NV1 prioritizes quadratic primitives. Before Nvidia was able to release the next generation NV2, Microsoft rolled out the DirectX platform, which only supported triangles and effectively killed the quadratic chips. In response, CEO Jensen Huang had to lay off almost half of the company's employees. Nvidia adapted to its circumstances and began developing its Riva 128 GPU, which was also known as the NV3. It used the triangle primitives and was built to work within DirectX. This was the company's first success and saved the company from the brink of bankruptcy by selling 1 million units in 4 months. Its next product, the Riva TNT, or NV4, was also a success and cemented Nvidia as a reputable graphics card producer. The company finally went public in early 1999 and released the first of its famous GeForce line of GPUs, the GeForce 256, later that year. Its early successes helped the company win the contract to develop the graphics hardware for Microsoft's first Xbox console. It would also later be contracted to co-develop the graphics processor for the Sony PlayStation 3. This growth and prestige led to Nvidia being chosen to replace Enron in the S&P 500 in 2001. In the early 2000s, Nvidia carried out a string of acquisitions that included its former competitor 3DFX and other graphics and rendering companies. Its quick expansion efforts led to a subpoena from the US Department of Justice in 2006 regarding antitrust in the graphics card industry, alongside its main rival, Advanced Micro Devices, also known as AMD. No action was taken against the two companies, but this did show that Nvidia had reached the top of the field when it came to graphics cards. The company ran into legal trouble again in 2008 when it experienced an abnormally high rate of manufacturing defects in chips it had placed into laptops for Apple, Dell, and HP. As a result of a class action lawsuit, it agreed to reimburse the owners of affected laptops for repairs and/or replacements. It also constantly found itself in licensing lawsuits with chipmaker Intel. Later, in 2011, it signed a $1.5 billion cross-licensing agreement with Intel to share technology and end all legislation. In 2009, Nvidia began its expansion into mobile and car entertainment systems with its Tegra chip series. The first products to use the Tegra were Microsoft's Zune MP3 player and Samsung's M1 smartphone. By 2012, Tesla and Audi both began using Tegra chips for their infotainment systems, and in 2016, the company announced that the new hybrid Nintendo Switch console would also be using a new custom version of a Tegra chip. In 2016, Nvidia released its GTX 1080 and 1070 GPUs. This was the beginning of what would be the most popular lines of GPUs in history. The GeForce 10 series was followed by the 20, 30, and 40 series. As of February 2024, according to the Steam Hardware and Software Survey, the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060 is the most used graphics card by PC gamers. Even more impressive is that the next 12 most used cards are Nvidia GeForce cards. Due to the proficiency of their GPUs, in 2017, crypto miners began buying up as much as they could. This increase in demand caused the supply to decrease and the price of these cards to almost double. Gamers and typical consumers became very upset because they were unable to buy the cards without paying absurd prices. While not having much power in the matter, Nvidia did ask retailers to prioritize selling the GPUs to gamers instead of crypto miners whenever possible. The crypto miners actually significantly increased Nvidia's revenue during this time and positively affected the stock price. The company ended up being charged by the Securities and Exchange Commission for not disclosing the significant impact caused by these miners to its shareholders. In the end, it paid a $5.5 million settlement, but did not admit or deny the charges. A sort of race began in the field of generative AI around 2016. Companies and research institutes began realizing the potential in using neural networks and deep learning techniques to lower the error rate in predictions from image object recognition to protein folding and other steps in drug development. Common people have even begun using AI in their daily lives through the use of chatbots like ChatGPT. The US led the world in terms of newly funded AI companies as of 2021. The largest companies in the US and world, like Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Meta, and Microsoft, have even surpassed US-based venture capitalists with their investments in AI. One of the most important factors of AI development is having the processing power to train it. This is where Nvidia's GPUs come in. Consumers can train their own smaller AI models using just a single Nvidia GeForce GPU. A mid-range, for Nvidia, new graphics card, like a GeForce 3070, will cost a consumer close to $500. Steam reports that 77% of its 120 million users have Nvidia GPUs. While consumer-grade cards are good for most people, larger companies need much more processing power. Nvidia has developed its H100 AI GPU, which it sells to companies at close to $40,000 a piece. Companies leading the way in AI like Meta, Microsoft, and Google have bought hundreds of thousands of these, which has resulted in billions of dollars in revenue for Nvidia. The company also began developing its DGX line of supercomputers. These systems run well into the six-figure price range. These sales have resulted in Nvidia outperforming expectations in most of its recent earnings and have caused its stock price to multiply almost 7 times since October of 2022. Its revenue has more than tripled from $6 billion in Q4 of 2022 to around $22 billion in Q4 of 2023. In comparison, its biggest competitor, AMD, has stayed steady around the $5 to $6 billion mark over the past 2 years. On May 30th, 2023, Nvidia hit $1 trillion in market cap. on March 1st of the following year, it hit 2 trillion. With only 180 trading days between the dates, this is the fastest any company has made that kind of jump. In recent years, this rise is comparable to Tesla going from 50 billion in market cap in 2019 to a peak of over 1.2 trillion in 2021. Since then, the stock is down close to 55%. If you want to learn more about the rise and fall of Tesla's valuation, check out our latest video on that topic. Do you think Nvidia will be able to continue growing at this pace? Or do you think the AI bubble will burst and bring Nvidia down with it, just like the electric vehicle bubble did with Tesla? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one.